$6:00. What are we waiting for?
Is it 6:00? Oh, Dr. Petit.
Oh, Lord.
I just sent Gina to.
McManus. Let's see. I got a Winslow winning pen.
That's what I'm saying. I
It's not here.
I do. I got a phone.
Is anybody here from Mr. McManus? Who else?
Read it, Martin. I got a phone.
Well, I guess we can start it.
I'll go back. He was.
Yeah, I have.
Hey, are you on your way? No, it's 6.
Thought it started at 7.
Okay, all right.
About this. committee.
He's on his way. McManus, he thought it was 7.
Rookie move.
How about Miss Martin? Is there anything from her?
I talked to her about an hour ago.
Sometimes you get programmed.
I also.
I checked my email.
I mean, we
5
said
times.
it.
Yeah, we said it.
I think you said it at the last
Yeah.
meeting in.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
sometimes we have brainstorms.
Yes, I understand.
Especially when you, like him, he be running all around doing all kinds of stuff. He probably, but.
What time is
Dr. Petit's on the way there.
What's working in his office? Who, Dr. Poteet?
Yeah.
Gina went down. She's going back again. Cause she said maybe we're gonna do. Yeah.
Hey, are you on your way?
His car is in the spot?
Yeah, it was.
There is a car in the parking spot that says reserved for superintendent,
Rita.
and it's not.
Right, you get it? I just sent it.
Can you hear
Give him
me?
a couple.
Reserved for principal spot.
Okay, perfect. Just be safe. I just want to make sure. Because McManus thought it was at 7. So,
Where's, is he in Dan's?
okay. Okay, you're welcome.
Wait for Dr.
All right, Rita's around the corner.
Send it to mine.
It's right there.
I hope he's all right.
Who?
Dr. Poteet,
The room's dark.
his room's up top.
But his car's here.
His car's.
Maybe he
Mr.
went to
Davis.
restroom.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
I have it up there. Dollar sign,
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
cooker,
do you know where Dr.
it's a
Poteet?
cooker, it's a cook.
This is
What's his number?
It's the award.
It's dark.
Yeah, the brother.
Yes.
Car parked in his spot.
Now it shows
But I
you,
hate
yes.
for the man-
Now we're like, okay, somebody's parked in his spot and it's not his.
Like he's laying across the desk.
I
And
don't want something.
you went into his office?
But I didn't go all the way in.
Girl, I don't even do that.
I went into this little
The little,
room that
Yeah,
went
yeah,
in there,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
I just poked my head in there.
well, he's not hurt, man. I hope.
It's not hungry, it's not cooker.
Something
not
like that.
I don't know my name. I don't know. Some of the rain.
I remember one time I was late to work, right? And I overslept because I was going to school and working all the time at the same
Yeah,
time.
this
right?
building doesn't have
And
slow
I'm never
service.
gonna make
Yeah, that's what it is. It
Block-
might be
block
close,
structure.
slow service, yeah, and see, that's it, it's the block.
It's all the concrete
Yes,
blocks.
I don't understand that, but
Yeah.
Thomas might be under the slow, because I just haven't received it. You probably get it, as soon as you walk in the door, you'll get out of here.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Because this building is up there in age. Years ago, yes.
Turn the script.
I turned the whole script. He walked away from me all ran. He was beat.
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed. I'm like, don't you ever come to me about being able to, you know, I'm never asking. I said, something could have happened to me.
Right, you didn't even call.
You didn't even check and see if I was alive. There's not one missed call from this job.
I did that
See where it says
this year.
cooker?
Huh?
I did that with fire one time.
I just haven't received it.
Yeah,
it's the
They're
building.
like, yeah, I'm not coming.
Yeah, there it comes, it just came. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The APB.
Ready to hear an too.
All right. Now that we know you're okay.
That you're working.
Forward man, it's all right. Well, welcome to the Winslow Township Board of Education special board meeting for the 2025-2026 budget hearing on Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a notice dated 4/18/2025. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting has been provided specifying the time, place, and manner in which this meeting is being conducted. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration building, the municipal building, the library, Bud Dubel Center, Edgewood Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township Post offices. Mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring, confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity and encourages the students to strive for personal excellence and assists them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Clark,
Here.
Ms. Dredden,
Here.
Ms. Claude,
Present.
Ms. Martin. Present. Mr. McManus,
Mr. McManus will be late.
Ms. Peterson,
Present.
Ms. Pitts,
She will be absent.
thank you, Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Shaw.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clark, would you mind doing the district goals?
Sure. 2024-2025 district goals. Number 1, student achievement. Continue to implement best practices for delivering instruction to students. This shall include A, conduct weekly administrative walkthroughs to monitor teaching and learning. B, consistently review student assessment data to guide and redirect teaching. C, continue to provide supplemental activities, for example, tutoring, enrichment periods, to address student deficiencies. D, benchmark assessment for 9th grade math and language arts. Number 2, create a safe and positive learning environment for students and staff. A, strictly enforce the district student code of conduct. B, focus on upper elementary school students to modify student behavior in the early grades. C, reinforce positive behavior in a specific and genuine way. D, approach discipline with care, respect, and the desire to see the good in all students. Number 3, increase parent, caregiver, and community engagement in education. A, provide opportunities for two-way communication with district stakeholders. B, continue with communications consortium. C, focus on refining our communication methods and messages to better market our schools. And D, continue with our public relations with the community.
Moving on to awards and presentations.
Mr. President, members of the board and community, at this time, we will have that 25-26 budget presentation under the direction of our board administrative school board secretary, Ms. Tyra McCoy Boyle. Mrs. Boyle? Mrs. Boyle, would you like for us to relocate?
Oh, yes, that would be a good idea.
Hi, Mrs. Martin.
Thank you, board and members of the community, for coming to the 25-26 budget presentation. Want to jump right into this? As we hear at the opening of each of our board meetings, we have our district goals. First one and foremost is student achievement. We also create a safe and positive learning environment for students and staff. We want to increase parent, caregiver, and community engagement in education. And these are the goals of the board. And what we're doing tonight is presenting a budget which will assist in the district achieving these goals. So the first thing I want to provide or go over as the enrollment. In your, the budget agenda, Mr. McManus, we're just sitting so we can see the presentation. And in your agenda, there is the advertised budget is right in there. These figures that you're going to see, some you'll see number by number, others may be condensed or consolidated. So some you'll be able to go from my presentation straight to what's in the budget. If you have any questions, we can always go over that. Okay. So the first thing I want to share are the enrollments, and you'll see there's the October 15, 2023 actual enrollments, the October 13, 2024 actual enrollments, and the October 15, 2025 estimates. Since we haven't gotten there yet, but the district or the budget software allows us to project within a range, and so we have projected in that range. October 13, 2024, what they do is they count all the students in the district at the time. So we had 4,955. We had 88 sent to private schools, so we would add that back in. 57 other students going to other districts. That totals 5,100. Also in the seats, we had 198 students that were received from other districts. So they're not resident enrollments, but they're coming here. If I were to back that out and then add back in students from Winslow that are in state facilities, we would have about 4,007 students. We're projecting for next year to have on roll 4,994 students, 88 going to private schools, 57 to other districts, which would bring us to 5,139, an increase of about 39 students. But also, out of those students sitting in the seat, we're saying only 170 would have been brought in from other districts, and then we would add back our state facility students, and that would give us 4,974. That is just a prediction. Once everything's said and done, we'll have an actual. But that was within the parameters. It was an increase of 67 students. So first thing I want to go over is state aid. I want to see and explain, and I like to take it from where we are in this year's budget compared to what's happening in next year's budget. So in 2024-25, we had an operating with state aid. They gave us $53 million, 53, 587, 44. For 25-26, we got an additional state aid money. Yes. Oh, yes, I did forget that. Thank you. So there's the number. So for 25-26, we received $56,798,767 in state aid. That was an increase of $3,215,124. So we got 3.2 million increase in state aid. For the preschool program, and this is a special revenue fund, so that's only for preschool. In 24-25, we received 3.8 million. In 25-26, we're getting 3.1 million. And it's a decrease of about 660,357. So in total, while we received 57,391, 943 in state aid in 24-25, in 25-26, we're receiving 59,946 and $160. So it's an overall increase of 2,554,667. Now, federal. In 24-25, we were told to budget, and that number is plopped into our budget software. It told us we had to budget about 299,727 in semi or special education Medicaid incentive fee. This year, they're telling us 46,640. So that's a decrease of $253,087. Just because they told us to budget that amount didn't necessarily mean that we would make it. And typically, we did not, because it depends on participation from parents, applications coming in. So, the decrease, I hope that we will be able to at least achieve that number. Now, local contributions from the general fund. So we had a $54.7 million tax levy in 24-25. We brought in $8.9 million in fund balance, and we made a withdrawal from capital reserves of $13.4 million. So the district, the local funding that was contributed was $77,052,099. In 25-26, our tax levy has gone up to 55.8. And I'm not going to read the little numbers, but we'll be here all night. That was an increase of $1,094,699. That represents a 2% tax increase on our tax levy. Okay. Fund balance, we're bringing in $6.7 million from fund balance. We're also making a withdrawal from capital reserve of $14.5 million. And as we go through the slide, you'll see what that's for. So we had an overall increase of $955,504. Okay. So our total revenues for the general fund, and the general fund is our operating budget. We have from the tax levy $55.8 million. We have $56.7 million in state aid. We have $1.2 million in extraordinary aid. We're contributing $6.7 million of fund balance. We're anticipating $3.1 million in tuition that's being paid from other districts. Between miscellaneous, which is could be book fines, interest on capital and maintenance reserves, we are anticipating $80,600. The semi-program is $46,640. We're making the withdrawal from capital reserve of $14.5 million, and we're also making a withdrawal from our maintenance reserve of $830,200. So our operating fund for the general fund for 25-26 is $139,245,356. And this is where we take a breather and we look at a lovely chart that tells us where the funding is coming from. You'll notice that state aid is 41% of our overall budget, and our tax levy is 40%. Fund balance is 5%. 2% is tuition. The withdrawal from capital and maintenance reserves about 11%, and the miscellaneous other aids, the extraordinary aid, and semis 1%. So now we have the revenues. Let's look at the appropriations. How have we allocated the money for next year? Well, what this is going to include is we are purchasing 4 school buses according to our vehicle rotation schedule. I believe that amount was $648,000. It's about $648,000. I remember a time where for $600,000, I would be bringing 6 buses in. But the cost of these vehicles has escalated just tremendously. And if it's not COVID backing up the production, if there's tariffs coming in. So while I cannot increase the fleet, what I'm trying to do is at least maintain it so that we have a safe fleet for the district. We're also going to have new textbook adoptions for next year. We're also going to continue to support our technology, and we have software upgrades and renewals that we'll be putting through. We're going to continue to provide mental health and behavioral services. This is going to be through one of our title grants. And we're going to have a replacement of playgrounds at schools 1 through 6, which I believe is long overdue. Capital projects. We're going to upgrade the HVA system at the middle school, and that's going to be $14,585,988. That's the money that we withdrew from capital reserve. So that's money that we have been stocking away, and now we have a use for it. We pull it in, does not impact our tax budget. And I'm saying on here, original units. There were newer units in the middle school, but one of those unforeseen occurrences that started to occur was the pipes would freeze up, and then the pipes would bust, and water would leak, and of course the floors had asbestos tile. So then we had to go through an abatement and replace the units. So we did, I think in previous years, not too long ago, we replaced, but they were the newer units that we replaced. So I would say about 40 to 50% of the school already has upgraded units. These are the units that are original to the building. So we're on borrowed time. So that's why we're going to go before, and I know we had at least one first this winter. So we're going to go ahead and get that project done. And we have been consistently trying to get our buildings and their HVAC systems upgraded. So this would be the next one we'd like to move along. So what has not changed in 25-26? We're still supporting staff needs. We're not charging to participate in extra or co-curricular activities. We continue to invest in the district's technology. We're investing in current and up-to-date educational resources. We're investing in performing arts, and we're trying to support the best outcome for our students. And I believe that when the students come and report out to us, we see evidence of this working. It's also nice that they feel comfortable enough to come to the board to make a presentation about what they're participating in. Yeah. So budgeted appropriations, and I know in your agenda, there's a whole litany of them. These are collapsed. There will be some that you can, again, go from the what's in the adopted budget or advertised budget straight back to this, and others are consolidated or collapsed together. But you see that instruction is 44 million. Tuition, and this is what we're paying now, is 15 million. It's over 15 million. Student support is 12.6 million. Administration and info technology is about 8 million. Operations and maintenance of the buildings and grounds is about 11 million. Student transportation, 11.5 million. Benefits are 19.4 million. Interest earned on maintenance reserve, we're anticipating $500. That is low. And capital outlay, is 16.7 million. We also have students that attend charter schools. That's 521,127. So our total operating budget is 139,245,356, which ties back to our revenue. And I'm going to turn the page, and again, we have a lovely slide presentation on the graph to show the allocation of where the funding is being placed. You'll see that instruction is 31.66% of the entire budget. Tuition that we're paying out is 10.79. Student support services are 9.10%. Student transportation is 8.32. Operations and maintenance of the buildings and grounds is 7.94. Transfer to charter schools is 0.38. And I think we have these decimals so that transfer to charter schools would even show up on the pie chart. Administration and information technology is 5.79%, and benefits is 13.98. Capital outlay is 12.04. So you can see where the pie is sliced and which pieces are the largest pieces versus what's being allocated. So now we are giving you a 3-year comparison of 23-24 actual budget and what was expended, 24-25, which is the year we're in now, and it's revised as of February 1st, and then 25-26 projected. What we like to look at or compare is if there's any wild swings. So if you look at the tax levy, the 2%, that seems about good. State aid, woo-hoo, we got additional state aid, about $3 million. Tuition, we are budgeting $3.1 million to receive, even though in our revised budget this year, we only had 1.8. We did that because if you look at 23-24, we actually received 2.9 million. Because of the need and the fact that we are getting this kind of funding, we increased it. If I increase the revenue, I can then go to my appropriation and say, Dr. Riccardi, every time I look at you, you are, I have to dodge your phone calls because you need more money and you're sweating. And so since you actually bring in more, I'm going to anticipate getting it and I'm going to give it to you to spend. So you don't have to call me and say, oh, Mrs. Wood, I hate to call you. I said, Bob, I'll use Doc's term. Just give it to me straight.
Mrs. Boyd, will you tell everyone who Dr. Riccardi is?
Director of Special Services. Oh, I'm sorry. Lovely gentleman. So we take a look at that. The other thing is other local sources. We budgeted this year 80,600. We're budgeting 80,600 for next year. But if you look at last year, we received 2.5 million. So, we went back and did a quick analysis of what that was. Hopefully I have it here. But we did receive some funding. I believe it was E-rate funding that we received after the close of the prior year. Ordinarily, if we go through E-rate and we get the money in while the current year budget is open, we would just refund the expenditure line so that we could utilize those funds. If they come in after the budget is closed, then I can't recognize it as current year revenue. I have to say we got this from the prior year. Yeah, I went and told you that. I gotta find my detail. We also received about 94,000 in transportation fees from other school districts who have students here. Interest was about 1.6 million we earned. Some use of facilities fund, that was low, it's about $625. Refund of prior year expenditures, which may have been, like I said, E-rate, prior year tuition, that was 816,000. And miscellaneous, which is book fines, technology fines. If you lose your swipe and you need another one, that came out to about $9,000. It's not prudent to budget for that number if you don't think you're going to get it. Like, I don't know how many people are going to lose their swipe cards. I don't know if I'm going to get 9,000. I don't know if after year end closes this year, then I'm going to get a big E-rate refund. So I can't, you don't budget for that. But when this funding comes in, it's good. It will end up going when we close out. And let's say in another category where we're anticipating 3.1 million in tuition, If I only get 3 million, but I get more in, the other category, we're still good. We might be short in one area, but higher in another. But again, if I can't concrete touch it or say there's a reason for it, I don't put it in. Okay. So if we, again, we take a look at it, we can see what's there. You can see that, the semi of down there were 299,727, and we're dropped at 46. That's, again, that's out of our control. It's in the budget software when we open it up. In 24-25, you see this number where it says adjust for prior year encumbrances. Those are items that we bought out of the prior year budget, but it didn't come in until after. So it's just like writing a check. The check didn't clear, but you know it's going to come in. So if we have that expenditure out there, the money that we utilized or budgeted to spend, it comes over as an open encumbrance. So when they come in, the money's still there and it's not hitting my current year fund. That being said, you'll see that it's the total for 24-25 is 136,477,610. If we were to take that 2.4 in encumbrances out, it would go to 134,063,350, which is what our adopted budget was last year. We don't have that number in for next year because we're not at year end yet. And if you look at the expenditures underneath, again, if you take a look at 24-25, and this is budgeted, compare it to 25-26. You want to make sure, again, no large swings are there. And during not only the budget process, but even during the course of the year, we turn in reports and we report out every month as required. We give you our financial, and we have to certify that there's sufficient funds in there to get us through the year. We have to certify that, nothing crazy happened, and there's certain thresholds that they watch. If you look at our monthly transfer report, there's percentages. We are allowed to transfer in to educational lines and any other lines as much as we want. We cannot transfer out more than 10%. So most lines, if we transfer out more than 10, we have to go to the county and get approval. We have to let them know that we did this, why we did this, and they have to come back and give us the approval. For administrative lines, which are our 230, 240s, and 250s, which is administration, we can take out as much as we want. We cannot put in more than 10% because they do not want us to adopt the budget. And then after it's adopted, we go, hey, well, I'm going to move all the money out of education and put it in my budget line. If we go over 10% in, we have to go to the county and let them know and explain why. So, and every month we look at this, Gina and I are always looking at what's the percentage, did we increase, did we decrease? Matter of fact, if I make any increases into an administrative cost line, we send the reports to the county. And there's a certain threshold in the state. There's 3, north, central, and southern. There's limits that your administrative costs can't exceed. So that's why we do that. And we are sticklers to stay within. So we have our proposed 25-26 budget. For our current fund, the total budget is $139.2 million. We have anticipated revenues of $83.4 million, and the balance is our tax levy, which is $55.8 million, which you will see, you have seen in the other slides. The special revenue fund is $8.5 million, and the anticipated revenues are $8.5. No tax levy to support the special revenue fund. So the total budget for general fund and special revenue fund is $147.7 million. Anticipated revenues are 91.9 million, and the tax levy is 55.8 million. We also have in here a reduction in the transfer from general fund to special revenue fund. The general fund is going to pay the special revenue fund for students that, there's about 6 students that are in the general fund, but they're going to utilize services in the special revenue fund in the preschool. We have to pay for those students to attend. So because it's coming out of one pocket and going into the other, you can't double count it. So they make us take that out, and the address is 147,699,571, with revenues of 91,869,923, and the total local tax levy is 55,829,648. Okay. So the tax impact, the net valuation taxable for 2025, 2.758605. I'm gonna say that's our net valuation taxable. The average residential assessment in 2025 is 177,700, and our tax rate is 2.004. So in 2025, an increase of penny raises $275,000, $861. A home assessed in 2024, and that was the average residential assessment in 2024, was 177,200. That tax levy would have been about 3,500 for the year. 2025, our average home is assessed at 77,700. That tax assessment is going to be about 3,561, and the tax increase is about $61 over the course of the year. If your home assessed higher, it will be higher. If your home is assessed less, it will be less. And does anybody have questions? And before I ask that, on our agenda, and it's new this year, we're a little more formal, we would like to have a motion and a roll call to open up public comments just for the budget hearing. And then anybody that has questions or comments or concerns, only on the topic of the budget, we can entertain them, answer the questions. Once that's done, we will close it, and then we'll move to just regular public comments if, you don't like the fact that, I don't know, and Tyra has to park way down here, but I do go through that door. So if we could, can we have a motion? Gina, can you take that, please? Or just write it down?
Peterson moved for opening of public comments just for the budget.
Second. Roll call, please.
Yes, roll call.
Sorry. Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Claude,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Now, does anybody have any questions or concerns about what they heard? Do you need some clarification? And this is primarily for the public, and then we'll go back to board members if you have questions. Is there anybody on the phone? The phone at this time. Okay. Are we good? So, doesn't seem to be any comments or questions. How about board members? Do you have any questions?
Yes, this on page 4. It's indicated increase, but you really meant a decrease. It says 2024, 2025, and then it says proposed 2025, 2026. And you even mentioned that it was a decrease, but in the blue it says increase.
Oh, yes, you're right. That should be decrease. I'm sorry. The bracket. Thank you, Ms. Peterson. It'll be corrected before it goes up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Mhm.
with the estimated number of students that you have for the on the October 15, 2025 number, are we getting students that are coming back into district? Is that why the number is going up?
We are, that's not an actual, for 2025?
Yeah.
We don't know. That's just the trend, and I'll tell you, when they used to give us our ranges, we would always have to budget a decrease.
Mhm.
And it was a certain percent, between a certain percent, but it would tell us based on the actual number, we had to budget a decrease. We flipped it, and now it's becoming an increase.
Okay.
So they give us a range that you are allowed to budget up to, or anticipate between this range and that range. And, like I said, we got the opportunity to increase. Whether, we're allowed to, estimate, but when the actual numbers come in, that's when we'll really tell. Oh, Mr. McMahon.
In the received category, the children, I guess that are receiving 195 and 23, 20, and then 24 is 198 and projected 170 this year.
Yes,
And forgive my ignorance, and maybe I should already know this, but how many of those children are coming in from Chisholm?
probably the bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are others that attend, beyond Chiselhurst because, what I was doing was I would only budget Chiselhurst tuition.
Okay.
But at year end, we were making, like I said, in the 2.9 million, and I'm only budgeting Chiselhurst. And during the course of the year, Dr. Riccardi is running short on funds. So I said, let's budget, like, tell me who you have. And we took actual student count, and we projected some of them, not all, at current rates. So I increased that so that I could go, Dr. Riccardi, we're increasing what we're anticipating in revenue from tuition, which we were getting. And I'm gonna allow you, I'm gonna put it in your line so you can spend for those that are going out. So it's a wash, basically. Whatever we got in, we're going back to the party. And that was so that, you know how I say there's these emergencies that pop up. If he has a need, you cannot deny the service. It's active. So, so hopefully he'll make it further through the year or maybe the entire year without having to come to us for additional funding.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions?
One more question, and I think you already said that, forgive me. Full-time students enrollments, those numbers, the county, I guess, give you, parameters as far as what the increase,
When we are projecting,
Right.
yes,
okay, and then,
I would say the state, because it's in the state software.
right, and I guess one of the other concerns that I have, and I know that we, as a board, have talked about this before, and that's the ongoing construction, residential construction that's going on in the town, which is rather substantial.
Yes, it is.
And just to make sure that we allocate, what's necessary for, do we have figures from the construction, I guess, maybe I shouldn't jump ahead too far, but, about projected numbers of students that are coming in, because you can do that reasonably. Whether you have a condo, a townhome, a single family home that's coming in, what the expected amount of children coming into the school district, on average per unit.
If you're asking me if we need another building or additional space, I'm going to tell you yes.
I'm just asking at this point.
I'm telling you, well, just like you said, you can ride and see, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
These kids, right now in some of our schools, we have teachers on parks because there's no classroom.
Yeah.
And we did do a a large addition to school 4. And we did that by squirreling money away and, it didn't impact the tax levy. I don't know how long that.
I can name at least one taxpayer that would thank
But you can,
Yeah,
you
and that's-
can see that there is a need out there.
you. Yeah, and I guess that's my concern with all the ongoing construction, like you said, is no surprise, you have to be almost in a corner and not see it. But as long as we're making strides to properly budget realistic student, projected student population numbers.
Yes, but they will only, let's say a development came
Mhm.
and all these kids flooded in.
Mhm.
And we report out in October. We won't get that change until the following year, and then we have to budget it in.
Mhm.
We will not get revenue for those students until probably the following.
That's exciting.
And
Okay.
yes, that's it, so, and right now, we have, the district has no debt service, we paid that off. We may have to go out and apply for debt service aid in order to, build the school, or in addition to the school, or in addition to a couple of schools. Your township is booming.
Thank you.
Mhm. If there's no more questions, we can motion to close.
Peterson moved for approval to close this session on the budget, questions and answers. Second.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Claude.
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
So board members, if you want to go back up to the seats. So, Mr. President, I believe we're just on page 2,
Yes.
and we're at the point to, if you want to advertise a motion to adopt the budget.
You ready for me?
Can I have, can we have a motion to adopt the budget for 2020, the district budget for 2025? As
It's on page 9.
yeah, from, as Ms. Boyle, our business administrator, board secretary, recommended for approval.
Peterson moved for approval of adoption of the budget, proposed budget for 2025-2026, based on the Business Administrative Board Secretary recommendations found on page 2, going to page 9.
Ready, second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Clark,
No.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Claude,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
No.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
The motion has carried.
Moving on to public comments. Can I have a motion to open public comments?
Peterson moved for approval to open public comment. Ready, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Sherman? Mr. President, we have nobody who signed up for public comments. Do we have anybody on the line?
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
Do we have a motion to adjourn public comment?
Peterson move for approval to adjourn public comment.
Ready, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then at this time, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Peterson move for approval to adjourn this meeting. Ready, second.
All in favor?
Alright.
We'll see everybody next month.
Thank you, board members.
Give me a buzz.